Bulldogs, so we should be in for a quality game.
Stonehill College in the purple unis, the Skyhawks. That was Swider against Brown in the opening tap, controlled by FDU. And here comes Ava Renninger, standout point guard for the Knights. And the first touch for Brown, operating on the low block, and an easy bucket.
Game plan is to get the ball inside to Brown and allow her to go to work. I like how she avoided the double team early.
Hayward, the leading scorer for the Skyhawks out of Easton, Massachusetts. About a 4-hour drive the southwest to make it down here as Brown taps it into the backcourt. And the shot clock already down to 10. The spin by Hayward, floats it up the left hand, no. 2 to shoot, Hayward an air ball, and Brown with a rebound. Now the Knights starting 5, led by Brown. We mentioned Renninger, the second leading scorer in NEC Rookie of the Year. And a team that has won 21 games in a row. You talk about a heater coming into Selection Sunday. You want to be playing your best basketball late. They didn't lose a game in NEC play this year.
Yeah, their last loss, December 11th at Rutgers. So I don't even know what losing feels like. And they found different ways to win. I was actually here just a few weeks ago against Lemoyne. That was a very tough team as well. So FDU, they have a lot of different scores on this squad, but it starts there on defense. Tanisha Brown, your defensive player of the year, and converts on the other end.
Brown with 4 after the turnover by Paquette. And the lead is 4 for the top seed Knights of FDU. The NEC championship. Touch for McLaughlin, and stolen away by Renninger. The Rookie of the Year with an early steal. The FDU defense, the early story. Brown with the mid-range. All 6 points for the Knights.
Oh, did somebody maybe get a message that she wasn't selected player of the year? Maybe had something to say about it and is speaking with her game. A perfect 3 for 3 from the floor.
First team all-conference. Not selected as the NEC player of the year. Perhaps some motivation coming into this championship game. Off the mark is Hayward. Here come the Knights. That motivation, a big tactic this time of year, right? You didn't win the award. You're not playing in the dance. You want to be spoiler. You're trying to win 22 in a row. What have you?
There's as much psychology as there is X's and O's all season long. Coaches know it. That's not a freshman move by the freshman Ava Renninger. She's been playing like an upperclassman so much this year. She became a starter by the 4th game of the season. FDU looking very much in charge of this conference.
After an incredible run at Fordham, the NEC Coach of the Year, winners of 21 straight, and off to a great start with an 8-0 lead 3 minutes in.
Just have so much respect for these two coaches in their history in women's basketball. Stephanie Gately, 47 seasons she's been coaching young women and has such a huge impact across the country. You know, the 4 teams into the NCAA, you know, 6 team overall. Then you look at the other side, Trisha Brown. It's so rare to find any coach at one university for any length of time at all anymore. And now she's 24 years in, and just seeing the overall impact she's had. As Stonehill transitioning to D1, and that's not easy. Your recruiting's got to get better. Got to live up to the facilities and the resources. And so for Stonehill, a team that knows it's not going to go to the NCAA tournament, for these ladies to play as hard as they have this year, find themselves in this game, it's a real tribute to Coach Brown and what she's done.
No question about it. Paquette off the mark. The rebound for Renninger. Yeah, the transition as Stonehill begins this one 0 for 5 from the floor. If you talk to athletic directors that have done it from D2 to D1, D3 to D2, it's a logistical nightmare at first to just get everything where it needs to be. Facilities, recruiting, dollars. Renninger, the shot, the long 2. And it's 10-0. There's a lot to overcome in that transitional process.
Yeah, administrative to athletic. I mean, there's so many different changes that have to take place. And so, you know, to fight as hard as you can to get that respect and to be, you're seen as one of the major players in this conference. You see Stonehill has come along nicely here, won 8 of their last 10 games. 4 international players. He's doing so many great things. They're leading this conference in assists, and that says a lot. It's a lot of good teams.
Step back shot for Paquette off the mark. And it's 10-0 FDU. We did talk with Stephanie Gately earlier this morning about what do you have to play for today. When you know your ticket has been punched, when you know you're going to the NCAA tournament, when the cameras are going to be on you later tonight for the selection show on ESPN, she said we've got to complete the journey as Renninger connects again. And it's 12-0 in favor of the Knights, and that includes a championship today to finish this season off the right way.
Yeah, you have to, again, treat this game like it's the tournament, and they do. And they knew that the job wasn't done. So today is just as much about making that statement and proving this. Stonehill finally getting on the board here.
Paquette, the basket, 12-2. Now Ava Renninger has scored the last 6 for FDU after Tanisha Brown scored the first 6. Brown now with 8.
Saw the isolation, right? Stephanie Gately, great call to get the ball down to Brown and move all the defense over to the other side so there couldn't be a double team. Just about to say Stonehill needs to create some defense to get offense, and that's going to start with some traps. You know, change up the energy here a bit because offensively, it's not flowing.
The offensive foul, the charge drawn by Conklin. And Tanisha Brown, 8 points, 2 rebounds to start.
And she'll get the ball on the left side, and then you just kind of see everybody backing out. Now Labore taking off to the top. You see everybody else literally outside the line, just letting her go to work one-on-one. You can't do that. If you're Stonehill, you have to send a second body.
Third turnover for the Skyhawks. Brown now in double figures with 10. What a start.
How about the pass from Abby Conklin as well? Great vision.
We don't talk enough about the entry pass into the low block because it is an art. Whether it's a bounce pass, whether it's a lob, there's a lot involved in a quick decision to try to feed the bigs.
Well, the best passers make it look easy. And that's a badly needed 3. Maureen Stapleton. Stonehill, a little bit of momentum here. Now if they can get maybe 2 stops in the score to cut this 16-10 by going into the first quarter. Gotta be feeling good about that. One stop at a time, though.
One stop at a time, Knights. Now 8 of 11 from the floor. So after the 3 by Stapleton, she started every game this year. Nearly 37% behind the arc. And inside to Stapleton again, this time off the mark.
Well, that's the movement you need. There's a lot more decisive cutting for Stonehill, even just on that possession. That one pass and cut is their best one yet.
Off the pump fake, Hayward connects. 16-8, here come the Skyhawks.
And she makes about 3 to 4 of those a game. My guess is they come in pretty timely scenarios as well for Stonehill.
39% three-point shooter, over 16 points per game. That's 3rd in the NEC. Here's Lily Park with a pass.
FDU and the Knights do a great job of drawing the defense up, and then just 1 or 2 power dribbles right to the rim. Stonehill's got to protect the paint a lot better.
Well, you feel like the Skyhawks are trying to get this fight back in the middle of the ring. Saved by Stapleton and corralled by Paquette, who puts in the mid-range. (18-10) after a 12-0 run to start this game. And here's Brown, first team all NEC. In and out and back down.
Gotta have that help side, because Brown, you can see it. She already knows she's about to shoot the ball, so try to maybe send somebody to that middle. So when she turns, she's got to fade away, go back toward the outside.
Less than 2 minutes remaining in a quick moving first quarter. Brown has been on fire. Stapleton, and a left-handed finish for Delaney. 0 for 6 start now equates to a 5 for 7 finish here at the end of the first quarter with still 90 seconds to go.
The give-and-go offense has been successful for the Skyhawks. I like the way they're able to draw the defenders out for FDU. Quick cut back door. Those layups will help open this game up for them as well.
Park was fouled on the dribble drive. It'll stay on this end.
Let's go back to that isolation. Sneaky Brownie. Look, everybody else outside of the paint. No one to be found but number 20 in the FDU jersey. She just let her go to work, couple of dribbles, and you got to have your hands up, a body into play for Maureen Stapleton, giving her too much room and playing her too soft.
Reniger off the bounce, step back triple. Park on the offensive glass and a fresh 20. Reniger, the Euro. Park for three. Toomey saved it, and FDU stays on this end. Reniger wants this shot. She'll take it. And a kiss. A tap by Toomey. And finally a rebound for Stonehill. That's Paquette. A big possession at the end of the quarter. Left-handed three off the back iron. Delaney no good. And a foul in the low block goes against FDU.
Big possession for FDU offensively, but all those offensive boards, they get no points out of it. But it does help you to mentally kind of establish, hey, we are being aggressive here in the paint. This is Stonehill's opportunity to match. They have really got to show that they showed quick cuts. I want to see them take that next step and play more aggressive.
Hayward. And the Knights rip it away. That's Kaylee McDonald. And a jump ball is going to keep it on this end with a shot clock off. Now the hustle, the effort was there.
The intensity is there for FDU, and I think Stonehill's trying to get there. They're trying to psych themselves up. It's just, it's two different levels is what you're seeing right now.
Five seconds to go in the first quarter. The reverse, no. And NEC Defensive Player of the Year. The offensive numbers support the idea that she could have been the Player of the Year in the NEC, but what a season, and most importantly, we know the Knights are going to the NCAA tournament. Stonehill College not eligible yet for the big dance, year 3. The transition from D2 to D1 next year. They're hoping they're going to be cleared to go dancing if they win the NEC. With Brooke Weisbrod, Roy Philpott, an early turnover for the Knights gives it back to Stonehill to begin our second quarter. That's their first of this championship. Stephanie Gately, always fun to catch up with coach and all of her experience at Fordham, now in the NEC. And she was excited to try to finish the job. She said, we are not done. That was the message to her team this morning as Delaney, the layup, and the lead down to 6.
Stonehill continuing to chip away. You know, FDU is a team that we've seen them take a lot of shots so far in this game, but I think their offense started to get too rushed in that first quarter. So here's Brown being at her best. You know, when they need a bucket, they know they can hit her about that NEC logo, that mid-range. She's got so much power to her that, you know, one dribble, it's going to be really hard to knock her off course without fouling, of course.
Second foul on Paquette, so that becomes a story as Swider was defending. Don't forget the American Men's Championship will be decided today at 3:50 Eastern. 3:15 Eastern on ESPN. PJ Haggerty, top seed Memphis, take on UAB. This game important for a number of reasons, not only to determine a league champion, but a potential bid stealing situation in play if Andy Kennedy's Blazers find a way to pull off the upset. And that's what we're talking about this time of year. Teams in a one-bid league that steal a bid could force a Power 4 conference team out of the mix.
Almost happened in the American on the women's side. You know, UTSA was a team that was #1 seed and almost ran the table, or did run the table, excuse me, in the American, but lost to Rice in the tournament. Again, the Rice, the underrated unseed, or downseed, lower seed, excuse me, got all the way to the championship. You know, but USF won that tournament, and this year, American on the women's side will be a one-bid league. But you're right, when you look at FDU, will they play a play-in game? Will they be a 16 seed? My thinking is they probably will be a 16 seed after running the table in the NEC. Who knows? A few more hours hours and we will know.
We will know. Paquette turns it over. That'll be the 5th turnover of the game for Stonehill College. And in terms of the tickets that have been punched up to this point in time, well, virtually every single one with the exception of a handful to go, including the CAA, NBC, and Patriot Leagues. Kelly continues the hot start. Check that, Tanisha Brown inside. I was going to suggest that here on Selection Sunday, most of the bids, they've already been established in terms of the automatic champions. And the question is, those final at-large teams, if you listen to Charlie Cream as Swider enters the conversation, that's a good sign for Stonehill. Virginia Tech, Princeton, 2 teams that are kind of right there on the bubble, is maybe the last 2 teams that the committee will have to decide about later on today. And there are others a part of that mix.
And you feel like you got to go down to the quality wins and look at dissecting throughout the conferences who deserves what. And this is where, you know, playing those tough schedules early on, I think, always benefit and get to your advantage. And Kylie Swider is just what Stonehill needs right now. Speaking of advantage, at 6'4", they need her height, they need her offensive rebounding ability, and they're going to need some big-time defense to shut down Brown.
The NAC Newcomer of the Year, transferred from Villanova, leading rebounder, second in the conference in that category. And don't forget, Stonehill trailed 12-0 to start. Now with the chance to make this a 1-possession game. And a kickball. Bore simply thwarted that one into the backcourt. Well, that's one way to do it.
Yeah, she's their energy leader on defense, just plays so intense. A great distributor on offense, but you want to watch her play defense because you're going to get a kick, you're going to get a charge, like anything she can get involved in to mess you up. She's all about it. I love her intensity on defense.
It's a young Brooke Weisbrod out there. I can see you doing that, playing defense at Coastal Carolina back in the day.
All day, whatever it took. Unfortunately, we never made it to the dance, so we were the Stonehill to the Big South.
There's no doubt in my mind you had a couple of kickball violations that led
Literally
maybe
did.
to a technical foul at one point in time.
Don't act like you know me.
Oh, I know you.
And yes, I did kick the ball in technical.
And you probably had something to say afterwards, too. You didn't just kick it, and that was it. There was more to the story. Up and under, what a finish, Babore.
That's where her passion comes through. Creativity, plays so hard. Like, she's somebody that says that the play is not over until you blow that whistle.
The kickball led to that offensive sequence on the other end.
Yes, got her started. Kick started, if you will.
Well played. Off the screen, Swider has 5 points here in the second. Stapleton, 4 on the timer. And McLaughlin gets it back. A critical moment in this game. Momentum started with FDU. It has switched to the Skyhawks of Stonehill College. Nearly halfway home in our second quarter. Contact, no whistle. Saved by FDU. What a moment for Lily Park.
Great timing on the double. Lily Park, when the defense or the offense expected it the least. And then she said, I'm going to go ahead and pay this off, please. Thank you very much.
28-19, FDU responds after back-to-back buckets by Kylie Swider.
Opportunity, if that's how it shakes out, you know, to, first of all, get all the way to a different coast and then play against one of the biggest, if not the biggest star in college basketball. And then just some fantastic teams also in that bracket. Of course, you know, Cal, Charlotte Smith, first season in the ACC, getting to the dance. Terrific job as Stonehill continuing to find ways here to chip away. Bella Mallory, one of their bigs, off the bench for 2.
28-21. Skyhawks will show a 2-3.
And fronting now Brown, which is a adjustment earlier than when they allowed her to catch the ball on the block and go to work. This zone is extended out. More pressure from Stonehill.
Shot clock down to 1. And the transition to the 2-3. pays dividends on that possession.
Yeah, much different look, and so FDU is going to have to learn how to get the ball inside the paint still, right around that NEC mark. But a different look defensively for Stonehill. And now what can they do with it? They have the opportunity not only to tie, but they could take the lead here headed into halftime.
So Bella Mallory on the floor for the first time, providing some size and some defense against Brown. 7-point advantage. FDU has led from the jump. It's 12-0 right away. Backdoor cut, and the pass bounces out of bounds, and Stapleton said that was my bad.
Yeah, that's a tough angle. Stonehill been trying to get a lot of backdoor passes or off the dribble handoff, and getting that cut action going down the lane, right at FDU. And it has worked to a point, but it looks like FDU started to make those adjustments and anticipating the backdoor cut. So Stonehill's got to change that up. 7
turnovers for the Skyhawks. Here's Tanisha Brown against Mallory. Contested shot on the spin and a foul. Results in 2 free throws for the Knights.
Yeah, you want that double team to come over before she starts her shot, so that, off the dribble, you're trapping, you're getting hands on that basketball.
Brown at the line, 59% this season. Incredible start, first team All-NEC player. Tonight's NBA on ESPN matchup features the West top 2 teams, the Oklahoma City Thunder against Milwaukee to face the Bucks. That's the Eastern Conference at 8 Eastern. Tune in to ESPN 7 o'clock for NBA Countdown. Giannis, SGA, and 2 of the very best the league has to offer on display.
I'm an SGA fan. Love how smooth his game is.
Who isn't?
Right? And of course, not a bad dresser. Shane Gilgeous.
I think he's probably the favorite to win MVP. Nikola Jokic is going to have something to say about that. Jokic put up 30, 20, and 20 in one game about 10 days ago. 30 points, 20 boards, 20 assists. I mean, that's a season. That's a career for some people.
Yes, it is. Oh, but Warren met by Sean Hayward on the defensive end.
The resistance and the foul. It'll go back to the Skyhawks.
The 2 of 5'6" guards going at it right here off the drive. Here's my boy trying to get up, and the quick hands. Love to see that. Hayward, that's the toughness that Stonehill needed to have. That's showing up in those moments. With her 3rd booted ball of the game.
Should be a category for that in the box score. BB, booted ball.
That's right.
I would go KB, you would go BB. And the soccer program perhaps scouting 13 and white. I could see you playing soccer too back then.
I sure did. Sure did.
There's something about the footwork that translates and resonates very well in basketball. You talk to coaches all the time, and they maintain for the younger players, the prep ranks, continue to play multiple sports. That will help you in whatever sport you potentially play at the next level.
It's great, obviously, for the bigs especially. Usually as they start to get taller is when they switch to soccer. And that's
downtown. McDonald. And a collision with the deck. McLaughlin in pain outside the arc. Grabbing the right leg. So FDU has answered the call, now leading again by 12. After multiple runs by Stonehill College, and fresh off their first made 3-pointer of this NEC championship, now 1 for 8 behind the arc. McLaughlin, the lacrosse team looking on. They've been active to start.
It's great representation from the athletes to make the trip here, and I mean, you could hear them as soon as they walked to the gym, and everybody kind of holding their breath, and hopefully she'll be all right.
Injury timeout as we step aside in Hackensack.
Okay, ladies, eyes on the tape.
Happy little tree that lives.
Who recorded over my game footage?
And he's a strong little tree. And he's got.
I just love his voice.
Great, it's lost forever now, Dawn!
Coach, relax. I've got it saved in the cloud.
Innovation changes everything.
The cloud?
With one investment, you can access the NASDAQ 100 innovators who are rethinking the world.
Really, Dawn?
Before investing, carefully read and consider fund investment objectives, risks, charges, expenses, and more in prospectus at Invesco.com.
Sydney McLaughlin now on the bench after requiring a little bit of assistance to get off the playing surface. FDU in the midst of a 9-2 run just came down. That right leg was extended and just kind of awkwardly landed on it. 9-2 run for the Knights. Big possession for the Skyhawks. And Babore with a steal almost unknowingly. Tanisha Brown, a rare miss. Paquette on the move. Poked away by McDonald.
But how big has Kaylee McDonald been in this game? A three, a big steal. Just her energy is a game changer.
Babore off the screen. The selection show tonight, 8 Eastern, bracketology at 9 o'clock. On the women's side, a big day for the men as well. Well, some people were talking on social media yesterday about how it felt like Christmas Eve if you're a basketball fan.
That's very accurate.
Today, the presents are under the tree. It doesn't happen in the morning. It comes later tonight.
And for FDU, they've already opened up all their presents. Now it's time to just play with them. Put the batteries in there, get the cars out, and get it ready to go.
It's funny you said that. I was thinking about remote control cars right away. Brown trying to put that one in. And she will shoot two.
And Brown always so intentional with the way that she approaches the basket too. This plays off 2 feet, makes it look simple. You can obviously tell she's just put her time in the gym, so many different reps to get that footwork, that efficient footwork. Her opportunity to get better is right here though at the free throw line at 59%.
Tanisha Brown, the only player to shoot a free throw in this game. Now 5 for 5. And remember, the American Men's Championship will be decided today, 3:15 Eastern. UAB and Memphis, the 3 versus the 1. The Blazers and Andy Kennedy could be a bid stealer. Tune in, 3:15 Eastern on ESPN, also on the app. And FDU now back to his largest advantage at 14. And Brown remains perfect at the stripe, 59% on the season. That's been a boost. Approaching 30 seconds to go in the half. Hayward, no. And Park clears the rebound.
FDU can hold for a nice shot here, almost able to run out the shot clock. Say inside pass to Brown here, or a 3 perhaps. Kaylee McDonald still in the game. She can light it up.
Renninger. Still 8 seconds to go in the half. Opportunity for Paquette. Hayward. That would have been huge right before the half. And instead, it's a 14.
If you're Stonehill, go in and make a mess out of the WNIT. Just go wreck it up. Do everything you can, to tell the NCAA, to tell the conference, we can't wait to be back. This is not just a one and done for us.
Hayward, the layup on the backdoor cut, and a great find. The opening bucket of our second half, and it's 35-23. The Knights leading the Skyhawks. Here at Pacoda Savings Bank Center. Just across the state line, the Garden State. Tanisha Brown, a rare miss. Skyhawks get it back already with the early bucket. Trying to trim that deficit down to 10 or perhaps to 9 with a 3. Paquette corrals it, and the corner triple. Too strong by Stapleton. Out of bounds, it'll stay on this end.
You see Abby Babore getting in between that triple handoff, blowing it up, and that's where Stonehill was able to create that momentum going down the lane and cutting. But FDU cutting that play off, and then you could see coming out of halftime and the message that Stephanie Gately gave her young women, which was, don't let up. Make sure you continue to keep your foot on the gas here and make that statement win. Because Stonehill, as we're seeing, they have a lot of fight in them. If they can get a couple possessions in a row, this could be a close game.
35-25, the game a 10-point affair. Just underway in our third quarter. And a foul near the elbow. Lily Park hit the floor. And Maureen Stapleton guilty of the infraction. That's her second. We got the selection show coming up later tonight on the women's side at 8 o'clock Eastern. Bracketology follows. The number one seeds we feel like are set at this point. South Carolina, Texas, UCLA, and USC, with UConn at the very top of the 2 line. And Gino Ariema's team, Paige Becker's, another incredible season, another conference championship. And they were thought to be a number one seed late in the regular season after that convincing win in Columbia against South Carolina. And Renninger, the mid-range.
It was hard to imagine anybody beating UConn after the way they played against South Carolina. And it certainly looked like they were deserving of number one seed. And I think looking into this year, it's been probably the most challenging for the committee. Charlie Cream, I said his phone was probably starting to blow up, literally starting to smoke the other day because he's got to be so busy. But there's so many deserving number one seeds this year. I love that. Then you got Duke coming in, winning the ACC. So the late run by them, but to me, I think the Duke Blue Devils are still my choice as one of those Final Four teams that not a lot of people are still saying and putting in there. But I think the Blue Devils are going to get there.
The way they defend, great job Kara Lawson has done there in Durham. I'll go back to South Carolina for a minute because the Gamecocks did not have the pressure of dealing with an undefeated season, is what we were all talking about in previous years. The loss to UConn was stunning, but since then, beating Texas in the SEC Tournament Championship game, winning the season series, if you will, against the Longhorns 2-1. Like their resume, their non-conference schedule that Dawn Staley put together, impossible to ignore. It feels like the Gamecocks are going to be the number one overall national seed as Hayward connects again. But it feels like parity at the top is more prevalent than I can remember.
Absolutely.
In the last 10 plus years in terms of who could win a national championship.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think South Carolina made the statement that they are the number one overall. With the way that they dominated the SEC and how much balance they have. They're a team that doesn't unfortunately get enough individual recognition with all the talent they have. Hayward's going to get called for the offensive foul. But what Chloe Kittens has done, especially lately, just talk about consistency, reliability, the toughness that the Gamecocks need, stepped up so much. And the decision-making from Ilasia Full-Wiley as the season's gone on, I mean, she's so impressive. Obviously gives you every highlight you can imagine and then some. But her decision-making and her maturity has just come along so well this season. It's fun. It's fun to watch.
Notre Dame, Olivia Miles, Anna Hidalgo, so much star power for Niele Ivy's team, currently a 2 seed, another potential team that can win a national championship among just a multitude of others. And I think it makes for potentially an incredible finish in terms of who ends up in the Final Four, who wins the national title. It could be one of 10, 12 teams. In previous years, it just felt like you had one team at the top and maybe 2 or 3 that had an outside chance. Not the case this year. And now Stonehill opens the half on an 8-2 run. The lead has been trimmed 37-29.
More backdoor pressure release plays from Stonehill. Just drawing the defense up, as tight a jab as you can get at the top. And then again, it's that quick cut to the rim. Stonehill's been able to get a lot of those shots today.
Renninger open. Too strong with a 3. Tracked down by Sias. So Megan Sias had 17 in the last meeting between these two back at the end of February. NEC All-Rookie Team Performer this year. With trigger, that's going to be a long 2. Kylie Swider, she's got 7. The lead down to 6. And a timeout called by Stephanie Gately for FDU. And Stonehill in the midst of a 10-2 run. Life right now in this current run, Brooke.
This is exactly the energy that Stonehill needs. Leave it to the lacrosse team to to bring their energy into this gym. Again, we heard them before we saw them walk in here. And you see now a 10-2 run here these last 4 minutes. I mean, this is the stretch you need your whole season coming down to a championship game, and it's the psychology of knowing even if you win, you're not going against NCAA, but you are going to the WNIT. So both teams trying to get their postseason mojo kick-started here today.
All right, so the second possession of this game in which Stonehill had a chance to trim the deficit to a one-score affair. Unable to do it there. They had one chance halfway through our second quarter after trailing 12-0 to start this game. Let's see what happens on the ensuing possession. Apologies for the technical difficulties as you see the score kind of filter on and off of your screen at times. Bad weather in the area with the wind, that's been a factor on that front. Skyhawks get it back. Outstanding defense to begin our third quarter. Stonehill at 17-14 on the season, 13-5 in the NEC. FDU has won 21 in a row and has not lost a conference game this season. Hayward, the bounce pass, beautifully executed. Zayas inside. Closest this game has been since it was 4-0.
Great play because Stonehill did not stop moving. They were continuing to try to get downhill and penetrate any way they could. And Sean Hayward, who you expect to shoot the ball, that's the last-second bounce pass. And credit to Megan Zayas for filling in with a jab step backdoor play.
Brown off the mark. That was another soccer reference I snuck in there. Got a couple of kick balls. Poirier has been active defensively. Cat off the mark. And controlled by Abby Conklin. Knights just 1 of 8 from the floor in this quarter, and we are nearly 7 minutes in.
You know who needs a touch? Tanisha Brown.
Open look for Conklin. All net from distance. Now the NEC's most improved player. That's her first basket of this championship.
Every time FDU has felt threatened, they've continued to step up, and different players hitting big shots.
High low to Swider against Brown. Lofts it outside to Hayward. Off the screen, and Hayward wants it. Clears out with a forearm and an offensive foul. It's her second. Still a lot of work to do to have a chance to steal one on the road in this NEC championship in our final 10 minutes.
And you see a different look defensively now for Stonehill. Another 1-2-2 press. See if they can get a trap in the corner.
As a point guard, when you see that for the first time after the first 2 quarters where just dropping back in a man-to-man, that's annoying, right?
Yes, well, no point guard wants to see a little pressure, which is probably why I got moved to the 2 guard. Because as a point guard, I was turning the ball over. I did not like pressure. So what you have to do, though, if you're after you, there's no way you haven't seen pressure this year. So you saw they were able to assess what they needed to do, get that ball in the middle of the floor. But defensively, a great possession for Stonehill. You slow them up, and you get a shot clock violation.
Stephanie Gately, second season NEC Coach of the Year, looking on here in Hackensack. FDU has not trailed in this game. Backdoor cut again. Stop and pop Paquette.
I like how Paquette has that quick cut, and then as soon as she catches the ball, you see she's kind of catching, planting off 2 feet, and shooting all in one motion. Don't look now, we got a 2-possession game. Can they get the biggest stop of the day?
And this is where FDU has responded, it feels like, more times than not. In every run made by Stonehill College, Knights have answered right back.
They've gone away from Brown, and that's not a good game plan, in my opinion. You got to find Tanisha Brown.
Mallory the block. Here comes Stonehill. Chance to make it a 1-possession game again. Open look for Stapleton. Now we're in the offensive glass and was fouled. The contact with Kaylee McDonald. She picks up the personal.
Bella Mallory has come in, giving great minutes to Stonehill. The size and just the light in her eyes to go and try to guard Tanisha Brown and really body up with her.
Yeah, you and I talked during that last break, and we're a little surprised we didn't see her earlier in this quarter. Now on the court, she's been a difference maker. Paquette off the mark, FDU in transition, and Reniger will slow things down. Tanisha Brown is 1 for 5 after that fast shooting start. 20 points in the first 2 quarters. How about that?
Yeah. Give it to 20 and let her go. She knew it. Second from that touch, she said, all right, I'm going to give you a little jab step. Swoop, finish strong.
And Paquette will shoot a pair. Brown, the delivery. Impressive again inside.
You know, the double horn with the 2 high post players for the screens. You see Reniger calling it up, but no screen needed. Just the entry pass and a square up for Tanisha Brown. Talk about good footwork. I mean, that's a perfect example of it right there.
Brooke Paquette at the line, the first free throw attempt of this game for the Skyhawks. We mentioned not eligible for the NCAA tournament this year. Completing the transition from D2 to Division I, they have officially accepted an invitation to the WNIT, so the season will not conclude in this championship game. Brown baseline and a shove. It was Mallory.
And Mallory may want to consider backing off of it and picking up Brown more in the mid-range to post coverage. And test and see if she can shoot over you from the outside, because you see she's trying to take her off the bounce, knowing she's got that quickness advantage.
Reniger. Tricky off the high ball screen. Brown with position. Tanisha Brown up, in and out with 6.5 to go.
Off the switch, you have the mismatch. Brooke Paquette just 5'8", trying to guard 6'2" Brown. Can just hold her off, and then unfortunately for FDU, the finish doesn't go down for Brown.
Third foul on Paquette. Brown at the line has been automatic.
Love to see that as somebody who's, you know, maybe the only stat where she hasn't been incredibly impressive, and then you see come through at the free throw line in a championship. I mean, that's what tells you she's next level.
8 for 8 now with 24. Big possession at the end of the third. Mallory had to meet the basketball and traveled in the process.
What a gift for Stephanie Gately's team, who gets the ball right in front of their own bench. Tell her team may box out on the defensive end as well.
Boré will trigger. Here's Brown against Mallory. Full head of steam. Fouled again. Mallory picks up her third foul, 1.3 seconds remaining in our third quarter. And a strong finish in the frame for FDU. The American Men's Championship decided today, 3:15 Eastern. Game's over on ESPN. Top seed Memphis takes on the 3-seed UAB. Blazers could be a bid stealer. Keep an eye on that one. It's 3:15 today on ESPN. Paquette turns it over right before the end of the quarter. And let's see if they want to add some time back on the clock. Championship 10 minutes ago, the #1 seed FDU Knights, the 9-point lead, and they will get it to begin the start of our fourth quarter. For Guysborough, Roy Philpott on Selection Sunday. The energy, well, it's palpable this late hour. And the early turnaround here in the quarter for Lily Park. She's got 6. And the lead is back at double digits. Paquette off the spin, up and under, no. Park, outstanding defense.
Just literally lateral movement without the hands. It's a perfect example. We've seen at least twice now, obviously throughout the whole season, because that's who FDU is, but players being able to cut off that angle to the basket and move without fouling.
Knights have already punched their ticket to the NCAA tournament. Stonehill completing the transition to D1 from D2, deemed ineligible. Year 3 of that move, and right now Charlie Cream has FDU penciled in as a 16 seed, but avoiding a potential play-in game as Park back-to-back buckets to begin our fourth quarter.
No, that's an interesting scenario, because I mean, I look at FDU, their 16-0 record in the NEC, and I say, yeah, probably like a 16 seed. I don't know about a play-in game, but if you talk to them, they don't really mind a play-in game, because you get that win. That's a win in the tournament. It's another unit to share in the profits. You know, the university and athletic department is a 3. It only goes down for Paquette. So yeah, lots of positives ahead for FDU. Great scenario any way you play it for the NCAA tournament.
And you win that play-in game, that's a banner. You've won a game in the dance. That's meaningful, right?
Helpful for recruiting, no doubt.
Stonehill on the move, down 11. 2 minutes into our fourth quarter. There were some projections suggesting as recently as a week ago Knights could be a 15 seed, and of course you don't know until the great reveal later tonight, 8 o'clock on ESPN. Bracketology to follow at 9 on ESPN2. And there's always a surprise or two from the committee. Like, we project these things starting in January, if not before. Things do oftentimes shift, even late in the process. And an offensive foul, Babore.
There's Sharon Hayward saying, I'm going to get that one back. A Euro step would have served Abby Babore well. Right there, but instead, Hayward beating her to the spot, taking great contact for the charge.
Give me your non-number 1 projected seed that has the best chance of winning a national championship. I'll give you a UConn, a Notre Dame.
Yeah, I was going to say Duke or UConn.
Okay.
No doubt. Those are the two that stand out in my mind. I'd say UConn give the edge there as the non-number 1 seed, but it's hard. It's hard to say, like, you know, to put your finger down on any team this year. You said it, usually there's, you know, maybe 2 to 4 teams that are likely. I think this year you could extend that out 8 to 10.
Sharon Hayward, the layup. Lead back to 9. Hayward's got 9. I love putting you on the spot right there.
Yes.
That moment of anxiety. What is he getting ready to ask me?
Exactly.
This was not scripted.
This is why we work so well together, though. You keep me on my toes. I like
do.
that.
I try. Park. Brown. Park. And a foul. Well, they were playing the 2-person game over the rim for a moment.
And how about Park came all the way from outside the 3 to get another one of those offensive boards. It's been one of the challenges for Stonehill, is keeping the Knights off the glass. Their length, just the way they read the ball coming off the rim and the hustle. I think Lily Park's been one of the most unsung heroes on this team. You know, coming into today, she had the 2nd most threes, but where we're seeing her biggest impact is on the glass.
Park 77% at the line. We should point out the great job Trisha Brown has done leading Stonehill into the Division I ranks. Not easy to make that transition. You're 24. She's won so many games over the course of her storied career at multiple levels. Graduate from Harvard back in '87, and this team is going to be poised to do some big things in the years to come.
Yeah, I think that the build, it takes time, and somebody who's been at any university for 24 seasons understands what it takes to win. And so look at the past of the D2 tournament appearances. Success will follow her to Stonehill as a D1 member. It already has this year. They're playing in the championship game. You know, these ladies are determined and hungry to make an impact in the WNIT. We'll be excited to see what Trisha Brown and Stonehill has in store for us.
You see the progression jump this season.
They did a great job too at Harvard for Kathy Delaney, an assistant there, where they were the 5-time Ivy League champs. Of course, congratulations to Harvard, getting back to the dance again this year.
Ivy League has been stout.
Yeah,
2025. Against the zone, here's Park from distance. Brown working hard on the offensive glass. Shot was blocked. She wanted a foul, didn't get the whistle. And an opening for Stonehill. And a kick ball, our 14th of this championship. Lead is 10, 6:07 to go. It is exciting watching the selection show, right?
Yes.
I mean, for us, even as broadcasters, we're fortunate enough to be a part of the NCAA tournament broadcasting crews, and so we get our assignments. But for these teams, we already talked to FDU, and the cameras are going to be here. So you're going to have a live look at where the Knights end up later tonight in that selection show, the reveal, beginning at 8 o'clock Eastern, the basket inside. And there's just a certain energy on this particular day.
Yeah, you live for the reacts. I mean, that's everything, to find out how excited the teams are to go where they're going, or just that they're in at all. And the teams that don't know that they're on the bubble, I mean, like a Virginia Tech's a perfect example of a team. You know, watch them tonight. You mentioned the Ivy League. You know, Columbia's a team that's waiting to hear if they're in as well. Princeton.
Lead at 8, big shot on the way. McDonald, no. She'll get it back. Reniger. Babore connects from downtown, and a big moment in this championship.
All from hustle, too. Starting from Kaylee McDonald, to miss 3. The hustle to get the steal. And a response from Sean Hayward. You got to love the 5'6" senior from Australia. First team in the NEC. And you can see why.
Hayward's got 12, 2 of 7 behind the arc. Skyhawks trail 12-0 early. And battled back the entire game, and a foul on the floor. Weisbrod, Roy Philpott, you got Elle, Rebecca, Andrea, Holly Rowe with your coverage later tonight. How much fun is that going to be?
Oh, it's going to be awesome. I can't wait to see how they break down this bracket as well, because you have bracketology immediately following the selection show. So just as much as I'm excited to see how the bracket breaks down, I want to hear the analysis behind it. I need to hear our expert picks out there, because I'm confused. I don't know who to pick at this point.
You got South Carolina, you got Texas, you got UCLA,
right?
You got SC, you got UConn,
you got
Notre Dame.
Exactly. Now you see where the confusion sets in.
ACC champion Duke, NC State, and Westmore say hello, and we're just getting started. I'm sure you've got another sleeper out there.
Think on that just for a moment. Yes. Well,
Round
that's
with
what the
25.
tournament's built on, sleepers.
Right. We don't want you to sleep, but sleepers are those teams that nobody sees coming. We want you to stay awake tonight. And for the duration of the dance, Tanisha Brown, perfect at the line when her team has needed it the most. And now 28 points on the board. And right at her career high.
I will say this, I may have a sleeper in USF, the USF Bulls, only because they have not played their best basketball yet. They started to show up late in the American Championship. They finally shot over 40%. And we talked about schedule. Okay, USF has played South Carolina. They play some of the best teams in the country. They beat Duke. So they challenged themselves, and Jose Fernandez put a schedule together. I'm talking TCU, Big 12 champs, UConn, all the major teams.
30 points for number 20 for FDU. Tanisha Brown, what a performance. And the Knights can cinch it now. That lead back to 12, a new career high for Brown. And awaiting their ultimate destination in the big dance later tonight.
Now, Tanisha Brown made the first team in this conference, but certainly Stephanie Gately felt like she had an opportunity for Player of the Year. Expressed that to us today, said Tanisha was going to go ahead and speak with her game, and boy did she. Career high in a championship.
Most points in a game this season by an FDU player. I would say that her game has done all of the talking, and it was not only just the total performance. Now with 30, it was the tone setter to begin with the first 6 points of the contest.
And her ability to hit free throws, too. I mean, what a complete game. FDU started this game with intention, with energy. It took Stonehill a moment to try and match that. They've never gotten there, because every time they come close, FDU and the Knights, they raise it up one more level.
Swider bumped on the turnaround, and Kylie Swider to the free throw line. Well, the other component to who's able to survive and advance to the championship, health. Who can stay healthy? The brackets and how they are laid out, the matchups for teams like South Carolina or Texas or Connecticut that feel like they have a chance to make it all the way to win the national title. A little fortune, a little good fortune along the way. Some luck, a bounce of the basketball, and staying healthy in the process. You're not buying the luck part, are you?
You need anything you can get this time of year.
Okay.
I'll take it.
10 points for Swider. Full court pressure. An 11-point deficit for Stonehill. Approaching 3 minutes to go. And Stephanie Gately saying, let's run our motion set.
Yeah, just keep some possessions here efficient. And that means get it to Brown. Let her continue to have her career day. Well, it's about that time where FDU can really start to settle in and enjoy what they're about to experience here, their first chance.
Brown with 32, and the foul by Park. Tanisha Brown has scored more than half of her team's points in this championship.
So dangerous from this part of the key, too. Right at the free throw line. See the route that she takes to get to the basket. It's low, it's powerful. You're not getting in front of that. You're not seeing any Stonehill player giving up their body for a charge.
Yeah, no hesitation with Brown through the entirety of this championship. Really throughout this tournament, this is a run of 11 straight double-doubles she's been a part of. And making a statement, television audience. And Brown's not finished yet. Back to work. Gonna stay on this in 2:26 to go. Now Stonehill's season does continue in the WNIT. That bid was extended for the start of the weekend. And for FDU, I'm waiting to see where they could end up later tonight in the NCAA tournament, their first ever appearance in the big dance.
I'd have to imagine this is the last offensive possession. We'll see the starters in.
Brown, 34. And a timeout called by Stonehill.
Well, Tanisha Brown has set herself not only a new career high today, but has set the tone for this team going into the tournament. You can expect FDU to establish Brown early and often as they're enjoying now their largest lead of the game as they're about to close it out.
34 on the board for Brown. Perfect at the line. Career numbers for Tanisha Brown. Montego Bay, Jamaica, Merrimack transfer, Defensive Player of the Year, the accolades numerous. But most importantly, the chance to win the NEC championship. The NCAA tournament bid already locked up. She has showed up and showed out.
The last two games, 57 points. But again, what impresses me the most was perfect from the free throw line. That shows me her level of concentration. Huge. Got the big head to match. That's when you know you're a star.
Have you ever had one of those?
I don't think so.
Me neither.
So, yeah.
I don't want one. For the record, I don't want to see it. Yeah. Expose some of those flaws maybe that it covered up in front of the camera.
Tanisha Brown has been perfect from the line. Surprised to see her still in the game though, but coach wants to go ahead and close it out. Their best on the floor.
Now Stephanie Gately, all business. Her quote to us today, we are not done. That was the message to the team. We asked her the question, like, what do you want to show when you know that you're already going? She said it's a great question, but this team, the second the celebration ended back on Thursday night, all business-like approach, getting ready for this NEC championship.
She's somebody that has been so connected throughout women's basketball. You know, said
he's out of bounds.
Right, that's what I'm curious about it because I didn't see the ball go out. Coach Kate was like, just get it over with.
Kenneth Kelly, Karasegi, Scott Perkins. They've done a nice job officiating this NEC championship. And just 37.5 seconds to go. And a quick conference. It will be FDU basketball. And you think back on the men's side of the ledger, just 2 years ago, FDU pulled off one of the biggest upsets college basketball history against Purdue over in Columbus. Crazier things have happened.
Are we getting a rush in the floor of the fans? What do you think? I think they're getting ready to. I'm getting the vibe.
For something that's never happened before, this would be the time to do it.
You better do it.
Right? It's the official Candace stance on that. Otherwise known as Brooke Weisbrod. Men's college lacrosse coming up as soon as we're done in Hackensack, North Carolina and Jacksonville. And now Stephanie Gately gone into her bench. And this crowd will tell the story. Sydney Stokes on the floor for the first time. Talia Baptiste. Corner three, no on the rebound by Joy Johnson, and that will do it. Williams will try to dribble out the clock. And instead, one more pause to wrap things up in Hackensack. Here on Selection Sunday, one more final round of substitutions.
I don't think it ever gets old for Stephanie Gately, who's taken now her 4th team here, but this is the first for FDU and the Knights. And just the joy at which Stephanie Gately coaches with. She's a connector. You know, when we asked her what has been the common theme throughout all 4 teams that you brought to the tournament, and that's basically what she said. You know, I live for relationships, for connections. That's what makes my staff stronger, and it shows up on the floor with unselfish play, with balanced scoring, low fouls. This is an FDU team that has a chance to win from here on out in the NEC.
Graber for three, no, and the rebound for FDU.